Whose kids are these? Erica Kirk provided this as proof of where she was.
Where are Charlie's parents? Who are Charlie's parents? I think that is a question that we have all asked. Matter of fact, let me just take it a step further. Where are his cousins?
Breaking news is shaking up the conservative world in a major way. And what's coming out right now could flip everything people thought they knew about Charlie Kirk's family upside down. Insiders are whispering that this isn't just gossip or online noise, it's something serious that's got big names scrambling behind closed doors. The mood inside the movement has shifted fast, and people who once looked calm are suddenly real quiet. Sources close to the situation say a shocking DNA test has surfaced, and the results are hitting Turning Point USA like a thunderclap. This didn't pop up overnight either. For months, little hints were sitting out in the open, but most people brushed them off. Now those small details are lining up, and it's starting to look like the signs were there the whole time, hiding in plain sight. Charlie Kirk's sudden death didn't just leave a grieving widow behind. It left a cloud of questions, strange timing, and a chain of details that people can't ignore anymore. What first looked like private family pain is now raising eyebrows across the board, and the silence around it is getting louder by the day. Here's the part nobody wanted to touch. Charlie's parents stepped completely out of the spotlight. Not only did they stay away from Erica's public appearances, they also pulled back from their grandchildren's lives. That move shocked people close to the family. In a moment when most grandparents would lean in, they leaned out. Friends started asking why, and the answers weren't simple. Now, here's where it gets intense. According to multiple sources who spoke under condition of anonymity, Charlie's parents requested DNA testing just weeks after his passing. They reportedly had serious doubts and wanted clarity before Erica could take full control of Charlie's legacy and estate. If true, that decision explains the sudden distance and the tension building behind closed doors. Something clearly didn't sit right with them, and they were determined to find out the truth.
Now she's saying that the kids aren't even Charlie's. So basically, Erica Kirk was left with no will money, no merch sale money, nothing after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He put that his children are going to get all the money.
What happened next shocked everyone watching from the sidelines. The DNA testing was handled quietly through a private lab. No press releases, no social media hints, just straight science and sealed envelopes. No drama on the outside, just cold results behind closed doors. But when those results came back, everything shifted in a serious way. According to sources, the findings raised major questions about paternity. The children Charlie believed were his biological kids, the ones he supported and built his future around, were suddenly at the center of doubt. People close to the situation say the numbers didn't line up the way many expected. And once that information started circulating privately, relationships inside the family reportedly changed fast. Then there's the timeline, and this is where eyebrows really started lifting. Erica has said her first child was born in early 2020, which would place conception around April or May of 2019. But Charlie and Erica reportedly began dating in late 2018, and several people familiar with their relationship described it as long distance and not fully committed for a period of time. That gap in timing sparked more questions than answers, and those questions are still hanging heavy in the air.
Hid. Not because I was embarrassed. Not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private.
So the big question is this: who was Erica spending time with during the period those children were conceived? That's where an old name suddenly comes rushing back into the spotlight. And this wasn't just some random ex from years ago. This was someone she was publicly connected to, photographed with multiple times and even worked on projects with. In her own words, she once called him her best friend and incredible boyfriend. His name, Tyler JT Massie, and people now say that connection runs deeper than most realized. Dig a little further and things get even more layered. Sources claim JT Massie wasn't just a casual chapter in her dating history. He was reportedly the man she had serious plans with. There were engagement photos. They showed up to family gatherings together. Friends say they looked like they were building a future side by side. Then suddenly, that relationship ended without much public explanation, or at least that's how it appeared on the surface. Now some are questioning whether it truly ended when people were told it did. Here's the twist that really turned heads. Recently surfaced financial records reportedly show steady payments being made, and the timing raised eyebrows fast. The transfers began around the period Erica's first child was born, and according to sources, continued even after she married Charlie. Some observers say the pattern looks similar to child support arrangements, though no official documents have confirmed that label. Still, the timing has people talking.
I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed, not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private, but it's because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me. My baby.
Supporters of Erica argue this is all circumstantial and say people are reading too much into routine financial activity. They insist there's no verified proof tying those payments to anything improper. But critics point to additional details they believe deserve scrutiny. One example that keeps resurfacing is that viral clip from a 2015 Trump rally, where Erica is seen standing beside JT Massie. In the footage, there's a young girl near them. Online commentators have speculated about her identity, though there has been no public confirmation about who she is or her relationship to anyone in the video. Even so, that clip has fueled intense debate. Speculation grew from there. Some online voices questioned whether there were parts of Erica's personal history that were never widely discussed. However, no verified records have confirmed claims about any undisclosed children or hidden family. What is clear is that once money entered the conversation, the volume went up fast. Charlie Kirk wasn't just a political figure. He built a large platform, business ventures, book deals, speaking engagements, and significant financial assets. His estate included insurance policies, investments, and properties intended for his immediate family. With that much at stake, every unanswered question started to feel bigger, louder, and harder to ignore.
Hi.
Hi!
Good morning, America!
I've lived in China. I've lived in Chongqing. I've been to Romania. I've been to Croatia. Lived in Puerto Rico for a little bit. Really handsome.
Erica was set to inherit a massive estate, but inheritances aren't just handed over without questions. They depend on legal ties, documented relationships, and clear proof. Now, Charlie's parents are arguing in court that if there was any deception about paternity, it could directly impact who has legal rights to what. That's the core of the battle unfolding right now. Their legal team has reportedly filed motions asking for a full audit of the estate. They want every transaction reviewed, every asset traced, and any relevant DNA findings formally entered into the record. They are also requesting a deeper investigation into whether any misrepresentation took place. These are serious claims, and in court, serious claims require serious proof.
Israel with my husband, well, not with, that was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage. And I was standing in the ticket line. And I remember looking behind me, and in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi.
According to sources familiar with the dispute, the Kirk family has brought in private investigators to examine timelines and past associations. That reportedly includes reviewing public records, financial patterns, and documented travel history. It's important to note these are allegations being explored, not proven facts. Still, the family appears determined to scrutinize every detail leading up to the marriage and beyond. They believe the full story hasn't been told, and they want answers backed by evidence, not rumors. Some critics claim the family suspects Charlie may have been misled, while Erica's supporters strongly deny any wrongdoing and say this is an aggressive legal strategy during a painful time. At this stage, no court has ruled on the accusations, and no official finding of fraud has been announced. But the tension is real, and both sides seem ready for a long fight.
No. We were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person. That's just weird. That ended up being Charlie. Nothing is by coincidence. Now, did we know that no, not until we were like 3 months into our relationship and looking at.
And then there's another detail people online keep bringing up: the pregnancy photos, or more accurately, the noticeable absence of them. In a world where many public figures document every milestone, some observers have pointed out that very few images from that period were widely shared. That alone proves nothing, but in a case already packed with suspicion and legal drama, even small gaps are being magnified and questioned loudly. Erica has said she kept her pregnancies private to protect her family, and that's her right. Still, some critics argue that explanation feels unusual, especially since other conservative public figures have openly shared their journeys into motherhood. Names like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Kayleigh McEnany, and Candace Owens were all pregnant while in the spotlight and chose to post updates along the way. Of course, every woman handles pregnancy differently, but the contrast has fueled online debate. Because of that, speculation started spreading fast. Some voices on social media pushed a theory that Erica may not have been pregnant at the times she publicly stated. There is no verified evidence confirming that claim, but it has circulated widely in certain circles. Supporters call the theory baseless and intrusive, while critics insist the timeline deserves closer review. Right now, it remains speculation, not fact. Another detail that stirred conversation was an ultrasound clip that surfaced online. In the video, the name displayed reportedly showed Erica FPE instead of Erica Kirk. Some online commentators questioned why a married woman might use her maiden name in medical paperwork. However, medical records often reflect legal names at the time of registration, insurance details, or prior documentation. There has been no official statement confirming that the name difference indicates wrongdoing. Still, in a case already surrounded by legal conflict, even small details are being examined under a microscope and debated loudly. Some critics online claim the medical paperwork raises hard questions, and they argue the details deserve clarification. Erica has not publicly addressed every claim circulating on social media, and her supporters say she is choosing not to engage with rumors. Still, the internet moves fast, and once speculation starts, it rarely slows down. With reports of DNA testing now part of the legal dispute, people are revisiting every past detail and looking at it through a sharper lens. Take the memorial service, for example. Charlie's parents were not in attendance. At the time, many assumed it was grief, private tension, or family conflict. Now, some sources claim the parents had already seen preliminary DNA information before the service took place. That claim has not been officially confirmed in court, but it's one of the central arguments being whispered about. If true, it would explain why emotions were running so high behind the scenes. Losing a son is devastating on its own. Adding legal uncertainty to that grief would only deepen the pain. Then there's criticism over how the memorial events were handled. Erica organized public gatherings and appearances tied to honoring Charlie's life. Supporters say she was preserving his legacy and rallying the movement he built. Detractors argued the events felt too polished, too fast, and questioned whether they were appropriate so soon after his passing. No court has ruled on intent, and strong opinions exist on both sides. What many observers agree on is that the timeline moved quickly. Within days of Charlie's death, major decisions were being made about leadership, messaging, and estate matters. Whether that speed reflects preparation, pressure, or something else entirely is now part of a larger legal and public debate that shows no sign of cooling down. After Charlie's death, Erica stepped into major leadership roles fast. She was installed as CEO of Turning Point USA, took control of his podcast platform, and began making high-level executive decisions almost immediately. Supporters say that move showed strength and continuity during chaos. Critics, however, argued the speed of the transition felt calculated. They question whether this was crisis management or something that had already been mapped out behind the scenes. Some online voices speculate that if Erica believed future legal challenges were possible, securing authority quickly would have been strategic. That theory has not been proven in court, but it's one that continues to circulate. By stepping into leadership, aligning herself closely with Charlie's public legacy, and presenting herself as the grieving widow protecting his vision, she became deeply embedded in the organization's identity. To many supporters, that looked like loyalty. To skeptics, it looked like positioning. Charlie's parents reportedly weren't convinced everything added up. According to sources, they pushed for more transparency and questioned certain decisions tied to both the estate and the children. What followed was a tense custody dispute. Erica argued that limiting contact was in the children's best interest, claiming conflict and hostility. The Kirk family, on the other hand, maintained they simply wanted involvement in their grandchildren's lives. No final ruling has declared wrongdoing on either side, but the battle has been described as intense, emotional, and deeply personal. Critics argue Erica limited contact because she didn't want deeper bonds forming between the children and Charlie's parents. That's their claim. They speculate she feared tough questions or uncomfortable conversations. Erica's supporters strongly deny that narrative and say her decisions were about stability and protecting the kids during a painful time. Right now, those are competing interpretations, not proven facts. What is confirmed is that when Charlie's parents pursued legal action and formally requested visitation, the dispute escalated fast. Under California family law, grandparents can petition for visitation rights, especially when one parent has passed away. In some cases, courts may consider DNA testing if biological relationships are questioned. Once legal motions are filed, neither side can simply ignore the process. The court reviews evidence and makes determinations based on documentation, not public opinion. According to sources familiar with the case, court-ordered DNA testing was conducted as part of the proceedings. Reports claim the results showed no biological connection between Charlie and the children. If accurate, that finding would directly affect the grandparents' legal standing. Without biological relation, their claim for visitation becomes far more complicated under state law. However, any final determination ultimately rests with the court, not online commentary. Some critics are now arguing that if any deception occurred, it could carry serious legal consequences. They claim that if someone knowingly misrepresented paternity on official documents, accepted financial benefits under false claims, or signed sworn statements that were untrue, that could open the door to fraud or perjury investigations. It's important to stress that, as of now, no court has publicly confirmed criminal charges. These are legal theories being discussed, not proven convictions. Now let's talk about the JT Massie connection, because his name keeps coming up in discussions. He was reportedly in a serious relationship with Erica years ago. Friends say they discussed marriage and a shared future before things ended. The timeline of that breakup has become a focal point for online speculation. Some critics question whether the relationship truly ended when it appeared publicly. There is no confirmed evidence that it continued in secret, but that theory has circulated widely. Supporters of Erica dismiss these claims as rumor-driven narratives built on coincidence. Skeptics argued the past relationship deserves closer examination given the broader legal fight. At this stage, those questions remain allegations, not findings of fact. What's clear is that the combination of personal history, financial stakes, and legal conflict has turned this situation into a high-stakes battle that's far from settled. Some critics argue that if JT were proven to be the biological father, it would reshape the entire narrative. That claim has not been confirmed by any official ruling, but it's a theory gaining attention online. A few individuals who say they knew both JT and Erica have alleged they saw them together after her marriage to Charlie, at restaurants, private gatherings, and other events. These accounts remain unverified, yet they've added more heat to an already intense situation. Were they simply acquaintances crossing paths, or was there more going on? Right now, that question is still speculation, not fact. Supporters of Erica say her decision to stay quiet is smart legal strategy. Attorneys often advise clients not to speak publicly during active disputes. Critics, however, interpret her silence differently. They argue she could choose to release additional documentation or clarify timelines if she wanted to put rumors to rest. Instead, the matter appears to be playing out through lawyers and court filings rather than press statements. Silence in legal conflicts can mean many things, and it should not automatically be treated as proof of guilt. The broader concern being raised centers on estate decisions. If biological relationships were misrepresented, critics argue that asset distributions, insurance payouts, and inheritance planning could face legal scrutiny. Those decisions were reportedly made under specific assumptions about heirs and family structure. However, until a court formally rules on the validity of those assumptions, the legal standing of any estate action remains tied to documented findings, not online theories. This case is being shaped in courtrooms, not comment sections. Critics argue that if key assumptions about heirs were proven false, major estate decisions could face legal challenges. In that scenario, asset transfers might be reviewed, settlements could be contested, and financial distributions re-examined under court supervision. We're potentially talking about massive sums of money and complex legal agreements being reopened. That kind of reversal would not happen quietly, and it would take extensive judicial review before anything changed hands. There's also discussion about how this could affect Turning Point USA. Erica's leadership role came during a period of transition after Charlie's death, and some observers say her identity as his widow and the mother of his children reinforced her position publicly. If any part of that foundation were legally undermined, critics believe it could raise governance questions within the organization. Supporters push back hard on that claim and maintain that leadership decisions were made by the board, not based solely on personal status. Still, reports suggest some donors and insiders are watching the situation closely as the legal dispute unfolds. As for criminal investigations, there is currently no public confirmation of formal charges. Online speculation has mentioned agencies such as tax authorities and state attorneys general reviewing financial filings, but official statements confirming active prosecutions have not been released. Multi-state legal matters can involve document reviews and procedural steps long before any determination is made. For now, this remains a developing legal fight, and any expansion beyond civil court would depend entirely on verified findings and prosecutorial action. At the end of the day, this story is far from over. Court filings, legal arguments, and public speculation are all colliding at once, and the truth will ultimately come out where it matters most, inside a courtroom, not on social media. Allegations are flying, reputations are on the line, and millions of dollars hang in the balance. Until judges make final rulings and verified evidence is fully examined, everything remains part of an unfolding legal battle. What's clear is this: the stakes couldn't be higher. Family, legacy, power, money, and leadership are all wrapped into one explosive situation. Supporters and critics are digging in, each side convinced they're right. But facts don't come from whispers, they come from evidence, and that process takes time. One ruling could shift everything overnight. If you've been following this story, drop your thoughts below because this conversation is only getting bigger. Make sure to like this video, subscribe for updates as new developments break, and share this with anyone who needs to see what's unfolding. Stay locked in because this case is still moving and the next twist could change everything.